Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. My name is Dr. Stephen Stokes, and today I'd like to discuss a very interesting article released by the Orthopedic Research Society, and they have a publication called JOR Spine, very reputable journal, and in that they released a research article with the title, Gut Microbiome Dysbiosis is Associated with Lumbar Degenerative Spondylolisthesis in Symptomatic Patients. What this article basically describes is the relationship between an imbalanced gut microbiome, so the bacteria that's living in your gut, when that gets unbalanced and you have more bad bacteria than good bacteria, you're more susceptible to degenerative arthritis, inflammatory arthritis. This imbalanced gut microbiome now can be looked at as a potential for chronic back pain. Pretty interesting. And of course, we've known the relationship between the immune system and back pain for a long time, but in the past, the microbiome was always sort of looked over as not very important. Now we know that it is really important. And patients who have had compromise to their microbiome, for example, patients that have taken antibiotics, patients that have done chemotherapy, for example, they have devastating health results of that. They get neuropathy, all sorts of problems, and now it appears that degenerative spondylolisthesis is another side effect of not having that balanced microbiome. It looks like they took data from 51 patients, and in the patients that had a higher level of inflammation-promoting bacteria such as Dialister, they found more common lumbar degenerative spondylolisthesis, while beneficial anti-inflammatory bacteria like Schlacklia was reduced in those patients. Pretty interesting. In the old days, when I was in practice, about 20 years ago, I was very much in touch with trying to balance the gut microbiome. And I used to do it by going through what I called the weed and feed protocol. So we would take a patient, and first we would basically kill everything, right? We'd wipe out all the bad bacteria in the colon. Unfortunately, we'd also wipe out a lot of the good bacteria. And then the idea was that we would just rebuild everything from the ground up using probiotics. Well, it didn't work very good, right? And the reason it doesn't work very good is because, first of all, when you kill everything, it can take years and years to repopulate that bacteria. A long time, during which the person is going to be compromised. Their whole immune system will be compromised. Not a good idea if there's a better way. And secondly, we now know that probiotics are very fussy, right? And they don't always get along with our own microbiome, even if they're the same, technically the same species. It doesn't always work that good. A lot of times they compete. A lot of times these probiotics are dead by the time they get to the colon. So we've tried to find a better way. And it seems as though one of the better ways to do it is using something called human milk oleosaccharides. Human milk oleosaccharides is basically an indigestible starch that is found in breast milk. It is actually one of the key ways that a newborn child grows its beneficial flora in its colon and establishes its entire immune system. Pretty exciting, right? And you don't have to drink breast milk. You can get this starch now as a supplement. It's a supplement not taken from breast milk. It's made. It's a produced starch, but it is the same as the starch found in the breast milk. You can use this to repopulate your entire microbiome. The product that I like is GI Stability. You take about 6 of these wafers every day. I like to take 2-3 times a day, and you do this for about a month. And the starch goes into the system. It bypasses the digestive process, goes down to the colon where the bacteria live, and it essentially just feeds the good bacteria, like the, what was the name of that? Like the Schlacklia. What a great name for a bacteria, Schlacklia. So it feeds the good beneficial bacteria, and they get happy, they reproduce, they populate, and over time, the population of the good bacteria essentially changes the dynamics, and it pushes the bad bacteria out of the environment. What a much less invasive, safer, easier way to treat the microbiome. And I recommend it. I've done cycles of GI stability myself. I actually do a cycle of that every year just to make sure that the microbiome are happy, that they're all content, they're getting what they need. And so if you're suffering from any type of chronic inflammatory disease, but especially if you have back pain, as by this article, then you definitely want to try to balance the microbiome. And I would encourage you to start this process with something very simple like GI stability, where you're just feeding the good and allow the natural process of elimination to occur. If you've had a problem where you are really overpopulated with very, very nasty bugs, if you've got worms, if you've got parasites, all sorts of really intense pathogenic nasties in your colon, then you may need to, again, address that differently. You may need to use something a little more aggressive. But I typically will start all patients off with the GI stability for a month and then reassess. Hope this was useful. If you found this useful, please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to put a link in the description in case you're wanting to get some GI stability. And again, on the website, you can get free copies of my books. They're free downloads, articles, and of course, I consult with patients every day, and there's no charge for the consultation. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.